listen to a lot of ebooks, and that's actually one thing I do want to recommend. On your smartphone, you can download an application called Audible. And every single time you're in the car, you should be listening to ebooks to better yourself and increase your vocabulary, increase your education, and just improve yourself. It could be any type of book you're interested in, but obviously, I recommend using your time wisely and investing the time and money into success type of books and growth type of books in that respect. But this is an actual story I heard in one of the ebooks I was listening to, that there was a company who spent $40 million over the course of a few years on Cisco products. And when they were asked why they spent so much money with Cisco, they actually responded, "We liked the Cisco salesman more." And I can't even fathom that, but that is unbelievable to say that they chose him over the other because of that. So this is the question I want to ask you. Why do you think people spend money with you? Is it because they like your product, or is it because they like you on a personal basis? And no matter who you are, there's a million other people out there selling or doing exactly what you're doing right now. With the technology and being in the information age, competition has been so increasing so much that's why getting to know people is so critical. And lastly, this is a food for thought. Are you a $40 million salesperson? Are you going above and beyond and focusing your energy on the other individuals to close that $40 million sale? So obviously that was a nice commission check, I'm assuming. How to be world class. And this is actually a lot of what I was just talking about. Just for time's sake, I don't want to go over everything. I wish I could, but we only have so much time today. This is how can you be world class? And this is another article that I wrote. Um, Essentially, how do you want to be remembered? Selfish or selfless? And people are going to remember you for what you do a much more and above and beyond for um, who you are. Essentially, I guess if you focus your energy too much on yourself, is what I'm saying. So you have to focus your energy outward on the other people. So um, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, so I'm going to tell you how to do that here in just a second. Again, what I was just saying, and I tend to do that sometimes, but people will remember you for what you do for other people, not for what you do for yourself. So it's really not that hard to really focus your energy outward on other people. One thing I do want to touch on real quick before I keep on going here. I used to be a very selfish person, and I was just being so frustrated with my life, with my personal fulfillment, with the things, the momentum I was getting. It was because kept focusing on myself, and my personal relationship suffered as well because of it. So what I did is I went out there and I started looking for the answer, and I couldn't believe how simple it was once I started coming across this. So just having small acts of kindness, uh, whether it be taking somebody out for a cup of coffee and paying for the tab, or maybe if you have to visit an office setting, bringing them some snacks to have, like donuts. I know Denny just told me recently that he brought donuts to a group meeting that he put on. Um, and also you have to listen to what people tell you. There's going to be both verbal and nonverbal cues of their body language, the things that they're saying, whether or not that you are getting to them. And again, I'm going to touch on that a little bit more here of how to do that. So God gave you two ears and one mouth, and He wants you to use those proportionately. Some of you may have heard this before, but it's true. Shut up, listen, and then act. So really the question is, or there's two secrets. One, obviously set yourself apart and be remembered. But two, ask questions. That's how you focus on the other person. So how do you connect with those people? When you're out networking and focusing on building those relationships, and in fact, I do want to say this too, is what the question that I asked before this presentation was, what are the biggest challenges you face when it comes to growing your business? And most of the people who responded said not enough leads, or not enough new leads, or not enough sales. Well, I'm telling you, this is the secret right here. When you're out networking and focusing on building those relationships, you will always want to focus on finding an affinity with the other person. And an affinity means finding things you have in common. And obviously, best way to do that is to ask questions. So the easiest way to ask questions is and to find connections is to just ask them about their life, about their family. People love talking about their family. People love talking about themselves. All you have to do is, Mr. Smith, obviously, if you want to be a little bit more informal, I'm a very informal person because I really focus on the relationship. So, hey, John, I'm just curious. Yeah, maybe not worded that way per se, but hey, John, I'm just curious. What do you like to do? What's your passions? What do you like to do on the weekends? Where do you travel? Do you have family? Do you have kids? What are your hobbies? Those are the easiest way to find ways to connect with people. And going back to what I said earlier, is the more you educate yourself and the more you increase your vocabulary, the more you're going to be able to have things in common with a wider spectrum of people. And it's all about verbiage and terminology. So one thing I just came across an article that I wrote saying that stay away from the tech talk unless it's the other person and you know how to speak that tech talk. Every industry has specific verbiage and language that most people outside of that industry aren't going to know. But if you can talk that language, and just an example in my world, obviously, is I try to stay away from terms like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP. Those are all coding types of language. But if I'm talking to another web developer, somebody who is in my world, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. And the more that I can do that, and the more wide verse that I can be, which I've really focused a lot on in my life, the better I can have that affinity with a wider array of people. So that's a critical aspect of it. The secret to finding an affinity with just about anybody, I keep doing that obviously, is to continuously grow and learn so that you are well versed. Unmuted. You are well. Oh, okay, sorry. People follow passionate people, sometimes even to their own demise. How many times have you guys heard of, and I forget who exactly it was, but there was a cult that the leader got all of his followers to commit suicide. If he can do that and he can convince people because of his passion and conviction, then obviously getting people to buy your simple product or service is extremely simple in that respect, because we're not going to go there obviously, but being passionate about what you do and about connecting with other people, you will see your success beyond your wildest dreams. And that's why I'm so happy to just about this today and share this with you, because I found my passion and my true calling, and it was an accident. But um, the thing about it is success always brings more success. So people are going to judge a book by its cover, whether you like it or not. And if you don't carry yourself in a positive, upbeat, passionate, energetic, highly motivated, focused individual, and have a well kept, let's see, what's the word? Whether it be doing your hair, shaving, and taking care of yourself and being in shape as best as you can, people are going to judge that and they're going to see that. If you have a low amount of energy, if you have a bad attitude. So the more successful you are in your business, the more people are going to say, hey, I should listen to that guy or girl, obviously. I think what they have to say is important, and I want to listen. And for me, being able to share this stuff with you today even is it gives me a lot of passion. I'm really excited about it. And I do have that tendency to attract people, and a lot of it is because exactly what I'm talking about here. You may not have a large advertising budget or a marketing budget, but if you appear successful, you will become more successful. So dressing in a suit as much as you can when you go out to these networking events, making people believe that you know what you're talking about and that you've seen that past success. So that basically begins with increasing your professional appearance, and future opportunities are going to present themselves because of your professional and successful appearance now. So that has a lot to do with why I've been able to attract the people that I have, is because I've invested my time and educated myself, but I've also built a very strong foundation for myself.